Hey guys, welcome back to another video with me, Just Friends with Abdullah. This time I'm back to your favorite segment, reactions. And today we're reacting to this young lady that says that she doesn't have any friends. Let's look at the video together.
I don't have any friends. If you watch my videos, you might realize that I do a lot of things alone. That's because I don't have any friends, and I've made peace with that. I think a lot of people might be able to relate to me. It's not that I'm not a good person, and I am really easy to get along with. It's just that I don't have any friends. Or the friends that I do have, they're nowhere near me. And also, as you get older, it becomes much harder to make long-lasting friendships. To be honest, I do sometimes get jealous of girls who have huge friend groups and
That's
go out
true.
and do things with
That's
each
very
other
true.
all the time. But the more time I spend alone, the more I realize that I'm really capable of doing anything. And I can be the source of my own happiness, and I don't need to rely on other people to give it to me. I had a really close friend group a few years ago, but it turned toxic so fast. I would always want to be with them because when I was alone, I felt so lonely. It got to the point where I couldn't eat without them, I couldn't go anywhere without them, and at some point I just felt totally lost and I started isolating myself, which is when I realized that friendships can actually cause so much pain.
As you guys can see, I mean, this is quite interesting. This lady, she says she doesn't have any friends and she's made peace with it. And I mean, this is probably a lot of direction and the trend that we've been seeing around the world, where a lot of people are much more isolated now, and they prefer this isolation. They probably it started from Corona, from COVID-19, but it has developed into this trend where people just prefer to have their own space and not interact with others, and they're okay with it. They have peace with it. And she mentioned something interesting about how it's harder for someone to become friends as they get older and find new friends as they get older. And that's very true, because as you get older, you tend to feel out of sync with society. You know, people who are young and up and coming, they always take the lead and they run society, and you feel out of place, right? You if you go to any restaurants, bars or clubs, you're like, I'm the odd one out. So, and you don't connect with them, especially if you're in your 30s and you meet somebody in your 20s, it could feel off for some. But she also mentioned that she had and we will continue the video, but she mentioned something about having a toxic friendship group. And this is interesting because people prefer, even if she has friends, right? People prefer that they would cut off those toxic friends because they create toxic habits for you and they deteriorate the life that you're trying to achieve and set you back, instead of actually sticking with them. Let's actually finish what she was saying.
I'm in a group of people, it makes me feel worse because I never feel like I really fit in, and I feel pressure to be something that I'm not. Of course, there are healthy friendships, and that can be a very beautiful thing, but I think it's good to be okay with being alone as well. Honestly, now that I don't have any friends, I feel more independent and stress-free, and I feel like I can do whatever I want. In the past, I would always ask people what they want to do. Like, if I wanted to see a movie, I would ask someone if they wanted to come with me to see a movie. Well, they might say no, or they might suggest a different movie instead. And then eventually I wouldn't see the movie that I wanted to see. So this kind of thing made me miss out on a lot of experiences that I really wanted to have. Now, if I want to see a movie, I can just go, and I'm still gonna have a good time because I'm doing it with someone I like, myself. Doing things alone might seem scary for people who are used to having the crutch of other people around them all the time, but once you let go of the fear and embarrassment...
I mean, this is a classic case of trying to fit in and not upset the group. this is definitely a classic case of that. You know, when you're in a situation where the group or the friend, and a friend that can be a little bit more dominant or more assertive, and you tend to slowly comply because you don't want to be the bad apple, right? You don't want to be someone who's upsetting the group vibes and fun. So you tend to sacrifice yourself, or cast aside your interests and your desires and what you want to see or what you want to do for the betterment of the group. And a lot of people feel that slowly eats you up, and it causes you to be very disassociated with who you are. You develop into some sort of cognitive dissonance, where you tend to say certain things but you behave in the opposite way, and that's dangerous, right? Because you don't recognize yourself anymore. I know it sounds a bit silly and it sounds a bit dramatic, but this is true. It starts in this way. It starts because your own desires or what you want isn't fulfilled, or you're not able to do it, and you slowly lean on others, right? And your emotional state or your well-being even is connected with your group of friends and people that you're surrounded with. And now you can think to yourself, you're not emotionally independent. You're not somebody who's able to deal with trauma or traumatic events alone, right? You need you need your friends to help you or recognize you or support you or be your support system, or you won't be able to get through with it. And this is just insane. So I totally understand where she's coming from. It's quite sad, and I think this is just a reminder to all of us that everybody has a different path in life, right? Everybody chooses a different way. It might not be the norm. It might not be what society usually conforms to. It might not be something that people see that is something that you should do. I think there's just one message here, and it's very clear. Everyone has their own different path. It might not be what society says is normal, and it might not be what people feel is casual and something that is a principal fact of life. No, it's not. Everybody chooses to journey this life in their own way, and it's important for their own self morale and mental health, especially given the fact that mental health is such a big deal nowadays. And and people recognize it and people talk about it more. So when you tend to do choices that are important for your mental health, for many people that becomes the number one priority, and everything else is cast aside. So I think in her case, this is a path she chose, and she's happy with it, and she, as she said earlier, she made peace with it. Because she's able to fulfill the desires and wants and the things that she's able to, or she's always wanted, right? And it starts simple. I want to watch that movie. Well, we want to watch the other movie. Well, okay, everybody goes to the movie they want.
You might feel you start to realize and learn so much about yourself. You will realize that you really can do anything. And it doesn't matter what other people say or think about you, because you're living your life. I'm not saying that you should cut off all your friends, but I am saying if you don't have many friends, it's okay. And a lot of people have the same experience as you. And also, I encourage you to...
I think I'll leave it here, and I'll conclude it by saying I think this young lady understood the message of her own life's purpose, right? And I did cut her off here, but she was saying that it doesn't mean that you need to cut off people or cut off friends or family or whoever, but you have to prioritize what allows you to be in the most fulfilled and mentally sound place in life. Because I think if you're in that position, this is my own personal opinion, and I'm sure we align or agree on this, is that I think if you are in the best place mentally, emotionally connected with who you are and knowing what kind of person you can be and what you can present and bring to the table, in any friendship or any relationship or anything that you want to do later in life, you're gonna be someone that is totally healthy, full of life, full of energy, in just the best, in the best space possible. And that's something that not many people can vouch for and say. She's gonna come in with a healthy mindset, and she, whatever she brings to the table. So that in itself is massive and huge, and plays a big role. And as I said earlier, you don't, what she mentioned earlier about knowing who you are and learning new skills and developing emotional independence and developing maturity and not relying on anybody, that in itself is a massive achievement, because you're going to be able to really navigate all the trials and tribulations that life can throw at you in the future. So I think she lives alone. I think it's in Japan. She lives alone there. I'm not sure if it's Japan or somewhere else, but I think it is in the Far East. At least it's in Asia. So yeah, I think it's a good message, and it's also something you guys need to think for yourself. And what is your best path moving forward, and how you're viewing life in general. Maybe you can learn some from this young lady. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this reaction, and I'll see you soon.